International Peace Day, Royal Highness. Good afternoon.
Good
And good
afternoon. Good
afternoon to the
afternoon.
House of.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending from where you are calling from. On this platform, we are having two celebrations. One is the International Day of Peace, and I say Happy International Day of Peace to everyone. And secondly, today is one of our speakers from Belize is on the line, and today is their day of independence. And we are saying happy independence to Belize and wish them many, many more independence in peaceful existence to the glory of God. Amen. So we're about to start right now, and I want to just say welcome to everyone. Special greetings from the Africana Women Working Group at the UN, a group of organizations with consultative status with United Nations. Usually every General Assembly will come together bringing women because every woman is a first lady, bringing women to a discussion on issues that concern them. And we utilize this, especially the September 21, the International Day of Peace, because of the situations and crises that confronts women from across the world, starting from domestic violence, sexual abuse, marital issues, family issues, career issues, um, gender equality and inequality that have been the ringing of the bell everywhere. So we use that to discuss on issues that concerns women and see how we can reach out to necessary appropriate quotas within the year. So we are glad to join again today, 2021, to bring in the world peace in the post-conflict, in the post-COVID-19 issues on gender, generation equality, women, peace, and security, and see how best we can move this train to make sure that women are comfortably in areas where they are placed. Comfortable in the home, comfortable in the place of work. Those who want to vie for posts, public positions, political positions, they are comfortable doing it. Because we cannot just be talking about world peace when the major aspects that are inclusive into the issue of peace are neglected, and that is the issues about women and gender. So today is a very special, important day to all of us, and I want to believe that all women are cued into this particular issue, especially on the theme of the Day of Peace from the United Nations, recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world. So on Friday, we all know that on Friday, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres and the President of UN General Assembly 76th session, Abdallah Sahid, rang the peace bell at the United Nations Peace Ground to deliver global alert about world peace. Each year, the International Day of Peace is observed around the world on 21 September. The UN General Assembly has declared this as a day devoted to strengthen the ideals of peace through observing 24 hours of non-violence and ceasefire. In 2021, as we heal from the wounds of COVID-19 pandemic, we are inspired to think creatively and collectively about how to help everyone recover better, how to build resilience, and how to transform our world into one that is more equal, more just, equitable, inclusive, sustainable, and healthier. The pandemic is known for hitting the underprivileged and marginalized groups, the herders. By April 2021, over 687 million COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered globally. but over 100 countries have not received a single dose. People caught in conflict are especially vulnerable in terms of lack of access to health care. In line with the Secretary General's appeal to a global ceasefire last March in February 2021, the Security Council unanimously passed a resolution calling for member states to support a sustained humanitarian pause to local conflict. The global ceasefire must continue to be honored to ensure people caught in conflict have access to life-saving vaccinations and treatments. The pandemic has been accompanied by a surge in stigma, discrimination, and hatred, which only cost more lives instead of saving them. The virus attacks all without caring about where we are from or where we live in. Confronting this common enemy of humankind, we must be reminded that we are not each other's enemy. To be able to recover from the devastation of the pandemic, we must make peace with one another. Especially women must make peace with one another. And we must make peace with nature. Despite the travel restriction and economic shutdowns, climate change is not on pause. What we need is a green and sustainable global economy that produces jobs, reduces emissions, and builds resilience to climate impacts. This year's theme, Recovering Better for an Equitable and Sustainable World, is most significant as the entire world is beginning to recover from COVID-19 havoc, which not only injected fear into the health of human life, but also created more crises in terms of peace into human emotions. Our group, the Africana Women Working Group at the UN, we holding an event today with respect to the theme of the International Day on Generation Equality, Women, Peace, and Security in Perilous Times. We are joining the global community to celebrate peace by standing up against acts of hate online and offline, by spreading compassion, kindness, and hope in the face of the pandemic, and to a diverse virtual discussion as we adopt post-COVID-19 recovery. We invite us all to join the efforts of the United Nations family as we focus on recovering better for a more equitable and peaceful world. The International Day of Peace was established in 1981 by the United Nations General Assembly. 2 decades later, in 2001, the General Assembly unanimously voted to designate the day of September 21 as a period of nonviolence and ceasefire. And this is how we are today, to continue with that desire that September 21 is a day of nonviolence and ceasefire. So I welcome all of you, and before we go further into the program, I would like us to listen to the message of United Nations Secretary General on International Day of Peace.
This year's International Day of Peace comes at a crisis point for humanity. COVID-19 has turned our world upside down. Conflicts are spinning out of control, the climate emergency is worsening, inequality and poverty are deepening, and mistrust and division are driving people apart at a time when solidarity and collaboration are needed more than ever. As a human family, we face a stark choice: peace or perpetual peril. We must choose peace. That is why I call for a 24-hour ceasefire today. And by working in solidarity for a lasting, sustainable peace every day, we can tackle the issues facing us. We need peace to urgently deliver life-saving vaccines and treatment for COVID-19. We need peace to recover from the pandemic and rebuild shattered systems and shattered lives. We need peace to level the playing field and reduce inequalities. We need peace to renew trust in one another and faith in facts and science. And we need to make peace with nature, to heal our planet, build a green economy, and achieve our net zero targets. Peace is not a naive dream. It is a light in the darkness, guiding us to the only pathway to a better future for humanity. Let's walk the pathway of peace as if our lives depended on it, because they do. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to introduce our moderator for today in the person of Her Royal Highness Princess Chepi Motlong. She is the founder of Fushorel Lift Foundation, NPC, and MD of Nalib Yat Chepi Business Consulting Limited from South Africa. Your Royal Highness, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ada. Thank you very much, the First Lady. Thank you, and all welcome. Greetings to you all, First Ladies. Today, I've been told we are all First Ladies and all Excellencies, all Ambassadors, and everybody, even those that are following us on YouTube. What a wonderful day it is. I'm greeting you from South Africa in the city of Gold, Gauteng, to be precise. This is the city, or should I say, where the cradle of humankind is. So if you ever want to trace your origin, do come over and I will come and show you where you come from. Thank you so much. And thanks for having us. We are going to have a very short program of today. And allow me to say happy International Peace Day. My goodness, will you click wherever you are, and whether you are waving or clicking or clapping, but just showing that you are greeted and showing that you can see me and that I can see you. You are all looking so radiant and beautiful. Thank you so much, Ambassador Dr. Sam. I can see you. I can see you. Thank you. Our program is going to be really very short, and I'm going to shoot straight to it. Our very first speaker is going to be Councillor Pauline Soberanes Tillet. She will be speaking on women empowerment and families, elderly affairs, diverse abilities and special needs, NGO and civil society, public utility, adopt a park, adopt a school, Belize. Ambassador Pauline, please take up a stage. Councillor Pauline.
Hello.
Yes, yeah, better.
Hello.
We can hear you. Yeah, we can
Can
hear
you
you.
hear me?
Yes.
I'm a city councillor representing the beautiful, which is Bamapan. We're located in Central America. We are bordered by the north by Mexico, the west south by Guatemala, and the east by the Caribbean Sea. We're the only English-speaking country in Central America. We're 8,867 square miles. We have a population of almost 407,000 people. I am so glad to be on this forum, and I'm sure that I'm learning a lot. Thank you.
You have a platform to do your presentation, Councillor. You have a platform to do your presentation, Councillor.
Okay, so what I'm going to speak on is women empowerment in Belize. And so what we do is in my portfolio, it's one of my portfolio is women empowering families and children. And what we do here is that we try uplift women. As a woman, we try and bring up each other as we give them like platforms in sewing. We notice that a lot of our women don't have opportunities to move forward in their lives. They reach a certain spot and like life just closes up for them. And so we give them opportunities. We have sewing classes, we have cake decorating classes, we have mentorship classes, and we just have people teaching them, give them more perspective. And we notice that after they have going through all of that, and they feel better about themselves, they have more confidence, and they're able to now move forward. That is one of the things in Belize or in Belmopan. Can you go ahead?
Hello, are we having a connection challenge? It looks like it. Okay, shall we move on? We will call our next speaker, Ambassador Dr. Samuel Jacobs, Executive Director, Jacobs Abbey Global Institute for Leadership Studies, here to speak to us about recover from devastation of the pandemic. We must make peace and advance generation equality. Women, peace and security in perilous times.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you very much. We can see and hear you now.
Very good. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with all of you and to speak today on this very important topic of recover from the devastation of the pandemic. We must make peace, advance generation equality, women, peace and security in the perilous times. First of all, for those who may not know me, my name is Dr. Samuel Jacobs Abbey. I'm based here in Washington, D.C., the Executive Director of the Jacobs Abbey Global Institute for Leadership Studies, and also Adjunct Professor in Leadership at the Executive Leadership Masterclass. So to dive straight into this topic, I believe that it is so important for the world on the day, as an important day as International Day of Peace, to recognize the importance of coexisting and co-living. The challenges we encountered in the year 2020 and into the 2021 has taught the world a great lesson. As human beings, we all share the same sorrows. We all share the same potentials. The COVID-19 pandemic actually reminded us as how interdependent we are as a global entity. What happened to one person in China affects the next person in Zimbabwe. What happens to the other person in Somalia affects the next person in Mongolia. The global crisis proved to us that we need to be in harmony with one another in order for us to advance together. Therefore, it is up to all of us to try to cultivate a peacefulness and a peaceful mind in order for us to be able to work our way through this pandemic. As we all know, this year, the United Nations is asking us to look at the theme recovery from the pandemic. And it is so important and so crucial that in order for us to bring this era of pandemic to an end, there is therefore the need for the world, irrespective of where we find ourselves, to come together and to put our efforts together in order for us to be able to overcome this threatening component of the pandemic. As we all know, the pandemic risks making these efforts even worse. The world came together with our resilience to overcome this pandemic. But lo and behold, just as every virus, they always come with various variants. And we just realized that the Delta variant is even worse than the original virus. Therefore, a certain kind of attitude is expected of every individual in order for us to overcome these devastating challenges that the world is confronting. This morning, I issue a press statement on behalf of our organization on the day of International Day of Peace, and I did reiterate that if we sit and do nothing, we will all be consumed by the challenges we are confronted. But we are known to be very resilient people. And as resilient as we are, it is also honest on us to support the efforts of civil society organizations, to support the efforts of governments, to support the efforts of the United Nations. And I believe that by doing so, we shall overcome this crisis. My hopeful expectation is that the pandemic will also encourage us to have a serious assessment of how we have lived our lives as humans and how important it is to connect around the world and build synergies and efforts in order for us to overcome challenges and situations that we find ourselves in. Again, like I said, at the core of this transformation, it is important for us as a global entity to go beyond ourselves and connect with our fellows around the world. And I thank Dr. Ada and Co for putting up this splendid program, because by talking and by speaking, we bring empowerment to those who matters to us. Now, the question one may ask, how can we stay connected when we are being encouraged to distance from one another? Many of us are missing our small, meaningful moments of connections and friends, and this has caused a lot more problems. We have seen the gender gap widen. We have seen the wealth become more wealthier. We have seen women and children abused even the more. We have seen mental health problems gone up. And more importantly, we have seen disparities in our health system, and we have seen the overburdened work of our health professionals. I believe strongly that feeling connected to our friends is one of the most simple but important predicators of our physical health. It helps us to talk. It helps us to speak. It helps us to share our problems, and also helps us to fill in the gap. We will eventually resume our shared activities, I strongly believe so, which we have already started, but we can also benefit from shifting the narrative from the importance of our relationship with others and help foster a relationship that will build strong mindfulness. As our theme speak, we are looking at recover from the devastation. How do we recover from the devastation? We can only recover from the devastation if we sacrifice even the more. Because the more we sacrifice, the more we put in the efforts to defeat this global pandemic. But the real challenge for us as folks with an affiliation to the United Nations and civil society organizations working for peace, security, women, and advancement of women's generation, the question to all of us is, what are we doing individually in our respective places to ensure that we advance the cause of women, we protect the most vulnerable, and we also ensure that peace and security prevails across the world, especially in developing countries? We can only do this once we come to that realization and we come to that understanding that peacefulness starts with us. The journey of showing tolerance and coexisting rests upon all of us. Always keep it at the back of your mind, the golden rule which applies to every sphere of a religious group. Do unto others what you want others to do unto you. Take a moment, take a pause and ask yourself, what have you done today to shape the life of a woman, to shape a life of a young girl, to shape a life of a young boy? What have you done today? Have you spoken up enough about the subject matter? Have you been blessed to the point that you have the resources to bless other people? We saw the devastation that recently happened in Haiti. What has been your contribution towards the support of the folks in Haiti? We just saw what happened, the withdrawal of the United States troops from Afghanistan, and the devastation and the confusion. What have you done as an individual to help protect the women and children in these regions? To wrap up, I will say to all of us here today, the International Day of Peace, since its establishment in 1982, should not be an idealistic dream. It must be made a fact. Each and every one of us must rise up and contribute to the betterment of the people around us. It should not be seen as just a ceremony where we gather to celebrate and to issue statements and make recommendations, but a real action should come from each one of us. You can do it alone, all by yourself, even without the help of anyone. How? By just being yourself and being intentional and reach out and help when you can. God bless all of you, and thank you for the opportunity, Dr. Ada.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ambassador Dr. Samuel Jacobs. You have put it so well. And thank you for gracing us, the First Lady. So I don't know whether do we say First Man? I'm not sure, but we just are thankful for you to grace us, for your support as well. And may we see more of you continuing to support our women, continue to support the agenda of women, and as we move along as well. Here in Africa, we know very much about working together with our fathers, with our brothers. That is what we call the spirit of Ubuntu. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, allow us to move right along to have our second speaker, the keynote presentation, again on the same topic of recover from the devastation of the pandemic. We must make peace and advance generation equality, women, peace and security in perilous times. Here to tell us more is going to be Susan Harvey, who is the Executive Director and Primary UN Representative, Peacemaker Corps Association. Susan Harvey.
Thank you very much, and good morning, and I hope, am I on? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. I really appreciate this opportunity to speak with you and to speak with all of you. And I think it's really most interesting that I'm following Dr. Samuels, because I'm picking up where he left off on some of his wonderful statements, which were so important. My NGO, the Peacemaker Corps, was founded in 1997 to support the United Nations mission to promote peace, tolerance, and nonviolent conflict resolution for youth around the world. That is the next step, I think. You talked about, we talk about the adults, but youth, it is so important. They are our future. Our Peace in the Streets Global Film Festival, which I'm executive director, has given future peacemakers here in the US and across the globe a voice by providing them with filmmaking and storytelling skills and technical tools to change the world in innovative ways so that they may build meaningful lives for themselves, their communities, and all who are touched by their stories. There's no more powerful way of conveying this meaning than through the stories of children. And now, as we all know, the need has never been greater. Each day, millions of children and young adults are victims of bullying, physical abuse, and nonviolent words and action. Peacemaker Corps works with victims of and key stakeholders in business, law enforcement, government, non-NGO sector, and private individuals to help children make sense of their experience and find a productive voice and tell their simple, sometimes often compelling stories. At a time when conflict has overtaken conversation and destruction has decimated public dialogue, Peacemaker Corps is intensifying its efforts to engineer peace building. The Peacemaker Corps programs empower teenagers in the United States and globally from diverse racial, ethnic, religious, social, economic, and gender backgrounds to learn the art of making peace. As an antidote to universal scourges, the Peacemaker Corps is designed to equip young people with tools to foster tolerance, engage in nonviolent communication, learn anger management, and practice mediation techniques and community building strategies. More than just an instructional program, PCA provides the ingredients for a lifelong regime that fuels the dreams and ambitions of young people and enables them to take an active role in seeking solutions for societal change. We help children become ambassadors of peace and prevention of violence by providing them with technical tools, filmmaker training, and equipment and mentorship. They learn to work collaboratively across generations and with local teachers, volunteers, peace officers to find their voices and to tell their powerful stories. PSGFF, Peace in the Streets Global Film Festival, is a simple concept with easy to use tools that yields profound results. The program gives children the opportunity to learn from adult mentors and to transform themselves into young filmmakers and lifelong storytellers who know how to communicate in the service of peace and understanding with families, schools, communities, their future workplaces, the nation, and even the world. Combining new skills with their unique perceptions, PSGFF empowers youth to share their dreams and ideas for peacemaking. Youth 18 and under, we are a little different than the UN definition of youth. They talk about 18 to 35. We work with youth 18 and under, are invited to make a 1 to 5 minute video about what does peace in the streets mean to me? And each year there are thematic categories featuring the United Nations Global Sustainable Development Goals. We highlight a particular goal each year. In 2019, we focused on SDG 13, which were the climate and the environment. 2020 was SDG 3, good health and well-being, which includes the really, really important and significant point of mental health in children, so impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2020, the Peacemaker Corps became a partner with the Office of the Secretary General of the United States to commemorate and celebrate the 75th anniversary of the UN. We ensured that the stories and visions of our global connection of young filmmakers initiated direct youth dialogues on the theme for the 75th year, sharing our future together, the future we want, the future we need. Since the launch of our 2020 PSGFF UN 75 in January 2020, our world has changed dramatically. We all know that. We are experiencing something that none of us worldwide has ever known before. PSGFF 2020 asks what it means to global youth who will be the leaders of tomorrow to experience the surreal world of today. We featured films about the feelings, thoughts, wishes, and plans of youth. What does peace in the streets mean in today's world of security in place and social distancing? Although they may come from different cultures and different parts of the world, today we're all the same, as was just indicated in the previous presentation. Peacemaker PSGFF is very, very passionate, but having the global filmmakers tell the world their stories. These youth films and stories will be the history for tomorrow. In 2021 and continuing in 2022, it's SDG 11, Sustainable and Safe Cities and Communities. Our COPS Kids Kindness Initiative stresses the necessity of youth and law enforcement learning to understand one another. If communities have confidence in and respect for their peacekeepers and law enforcement, believe that law enforcement shares their interests, goals, and values, overall crime rates will decrease, and both community and officer safety will be enhanced. Our initiative will create a space for mutual storytelling, where police officers can learn the stories of at-risk youth in their neighborhoods and share their own stories and experiences in law enforcement. This will be a safe and open place for everyone to share views, fears, and concerns authentically and with transparency. Youth and law enforcement will build bridges of understanding. The intergeneration of vulnerable youth and law enforcement personnel at a mutual neutral space in the neighborhood and empowering youth as significant contributors will start a healing process, produce congenial communication, and reduce violence. Cultural and language-specific adaptation of our proven programs will be produced and distributed via PCA's proprietary digital platform and app, thereby enabling hundreds of mentors to simultaneously deliver training to youth around the world. PCA will extend and reinforce our mentor moderated program by creating, curating, and streaming peacemaking content to hundreds of thousands of youth around the world. Our Peace app is available to all free on iTunes and Google Play stores for all iPhones and Androids. I encourage all of you to download the app, watch our talented young filmmakers' films, learn how to create and submit films, and most important, exchange all important visions for the youth around the world. I thank you for giving me this time to present the visions of world youth to you. You can answer any questions, I'm open to it, or I can be reached at Suzanne, S-U-Z-A-N-N-E, at psgff.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is brilliant. And what resonates so much with your presentations, because I myself am such an advocate for the youth inclusion, and also having worked with Dr. Ada and being introduced to Youth Gather and just the agenda of the youth globally. It warms my heart to hear all this work that you've done, and very much interesting as well. So what I would like to know, and we all can participate. I haven't seen anything as your questions in there. We do have just a few minutes. So I am in Africa, and I hear you are speaking of the app where they can submit their movies that are really as raw as they are. So now our challenge here back at home is that it's not everybody who's as connected or who owns an iPhone. So what provision has been made so as to include us? Remember, also we are working on Agenda 2030, leaving nobody behind.
Absolutely.
So how do we get included? We are not here, and also hear me well, we are not saying here we are, how do I say, victims or coming with a begging mentality, no. But I would like to believe that because we are wanting to embrace the youth of the world, that there is provision for those that may not be as advanced as the world where you are.
That is a wonderful, wonderful point, which I neglected to really explain further. This films can be submitted on their computers, on YouTube, on any form that they can to submit it. We can do it through our website if they can access the website. The point of the app is only that you don't require bandwidth, certain bandwidth for it, because it comes from the cloud. But that's a whole technical thing, which really I'm not an expert on, but we'll say that. And most importantly, we have always received films from Africa. We have what we call our filmmaking partners in the DRC, in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, and we currently have just been officially recognized in Kenya as an official NGO, the Peacemaker Corps Foundation Kenya. And that also, you can find that online. Peacemaker Corps Foundation Kenya.
I like that.
Yeah, and we are developing there in Kenya, and we're working with our youth there. We've received films from them. We have 2 extremely talented now mentors, because they're over 18, are working with the street children in Nairobi. We have received some amazing films from them and they are often our winners. We do awards every year from the UN to, children around the world. We definitely do not nor want to leave anyone out, and we make it possible for everyone. And we have received films from remote places in the hills in the Philippines. We have received films from, certainly all places in Central and South America. We have a wonderful partner in Mexico. We have other filmmaking partners, as I say, in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, in the DRC. We just received a marvelous film for our young filmmaker there when the volcano erupted. All of these can, they are on our website. They can be seen, and that's psgff.org or peacemakercorps.org, either one.
Great. That is wonderful. Thank you, and so great to hear that. I'm definitely going to make sure that we connect to the South African team.
Absolutely.
And then
Absolutely.
you can put in the chat all the contacts and the website, as we have mentioned. If you can put it in the chat. Susan, Certainly. This has been a wonderful one. Do we have anybody who wants to interact with Susan, perhaps? I don't see any hand, but very, very interesting presentation. And we are going to have your contacts and the website in the chat. Right, as we move along now, and we are here with the First Ladies, and we have heard from the First Ladies, and they really have so much interesting stuff that they are doing on the ground, and we are learning from each other. And we know definitely that the circle has been created and it's now bigger and bigger. So we all have a seat at the table at the UN. Here to agree or disagree with us here, we are going to hear from Ambassador Reverend Bauki.
Right, hello. Was that me? My name is Bokwey, B-O-K-W-E-Y. Is it me you're calling?
Yes, I was, and apologies, Bokwey. So
yes.
Bokwey Ben Lee.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, I actually had a question and a couple of comments, and I'm so glad, and I really thank God for Dr. Ada, the host of this program, and for all the wonderful things that she's doing. And I thank God for all the speakers who have spoken so beautifully and so thoughtfully and so eloquently. And so in the interest of recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world peace, the question that I have is, and also, Your Royal Highness, I liked a point that you made about people reaching out to Susan Harvey, one of our speakers who just spoke, and her organization from the motherland, from Africa, not in a beggarly spirit, but more like in a spirit of passion and self-worth and wanting to do something to contribute toward everything that is going on. And I really get excited when I see people from the motherland in Africa approach things in that way. So now my question is this. I was thinking, wouldn't it be wonderful for Africa to help her to recover better if we had a kind of a coalition of medical staff, of doctors and nurses and other medical personnel get together and form a formal organization, you know, similar to what we have like Doctors Without Borders and Red Cross and things like that. But this one made of medical people in the motherland and in the diaspora to help meet Africa's needs, her medical needs, because we know, just like the first speaker said, one man's problem in China became the whole world's problem, you know. And also because we know, because of the pandemic, we know that there have been cultural challenges and barriers to certain things that could have worked out better for everyone in the pandemic. So my thinking is that, you know, if we, especially in different parts of the world where cultural matters are different and they are important, with medical people who are savvy to the cultural challenges and the mindset of the people, I think that we would have, they would be more effective in terms of effort. So this is what I'm asking, whether there could be a situation where, or a forum that anyone could spearhead, where we could have a coalition of medical personnel with an understanding of the cultural and social challenges of the African motherland to help solve the problems that arise through war, civil unrest, and of course, the pandemic.
This is Suzanne. Thank you so much. Yes, it is extraordinarily important for us all to really have some kind of a coalition and continue to work together. I mean, through my group with our youth, through my group in Kenya and in the other countries, they are not, well, some of them may be, but basically they're not doctors or medical professionals. But that is a piece that is so important, because if health is not understood and if you're not able to have the means or the ability to get to someone or to learn about this, then the youth will not have an opportunity to grow up. And that is important. I know that Dr. Frederick Ogenga, who is the chairman of our Peacemaker Core Kenyan Foundation, is currently working on a program that will bring information to midwives around Kenya and around the surrounding area. That's being done with some international organization. So yes, I fully agree with your idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Any of the speakers who would like to add? If not, Reverend Yvonne, you can also use the Q&A section. I see your hand is up. You can use the Q&A section to raise any question that you have or comments. To all our participants, to all our attendees, you are so very welcome to raise, to participate as well, to contribute. So use the Q&A and we will be reading them and bringing the answers as well.
I am Pauline from Belize. I
Yes,
love the idea of well, we call it networking or netweaving here. Belize is very small, and especially right now with the pandemic, we need a lot of resources. We need a lot of doctors and nurses to come in. So I love the idea of having, you know, like doctors and all of this, so that we can build up on what we have here in Belize and learn from each other as well.
Totally agree. Totally agree. It is always so good to learn from each other, because while some of the challenges are common, but then you find that some of the solutions that are coming from different countries can be helpful. You learn that there is a solution that has been found maybe in the other part of the world, and while the other part of the world is struggling with the challenge. I completely Completely agree, Councillor. Thank you. Any other addition from our speakers or anyone who would like to add? If not, shall we move on to the next section, Dr. Ada?
Yes. Yes, we can. To the
I
final
hope I
section.
have. Yes. We are now going to be moving along to the panel session, panel discussion. May I have CC Cole? May I have, you can help us to spotlight them, Dr. Ada. Her Royal Highness Princess Khabo Moroka. May I also have B. Baylor. Is it B. Baylor or Bia Baylor? Please correct me. And I can see them all. Yeah, it's gonna be a wonderful afternoon. All our first ladies are here for the panel discussion.
Yes, can you be on video, our panelists, please, so I can bring you out?
I think, yes, we have had a request, Khabo, to please be excused from the video.
Ah, I can't see her. She's going to be out of video. I see Cesar, can you be on video, please? Dr. Tony Lawal, do you mind joining the panel? You can promote it to panelist. Yeah.
Can she hear us?
Can she hear us?
She's away from. I don't see any unmuting.
Okay, go ahead while I track them. Cesar is on the line, maybe she's off.
All right. We will be, our discussion is going to be around, let me just have some water. Thank you. Our discussion is going to be around recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world, which is most significant as the entire world is beginning to recover from COVID-19 havoc, which not only injected fear into the health of human lives, but also created more crises in terms of peace and to human emotions. This is Dr. Diana.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. There you are. There you are, Ambassador.
Right.
So
yes,
yes, you can be spotlighted now. There you are. Thank you.
Thank you.
We heard our topic of discussion. So because now maybe Bela, you are already here looking also awesome and wonderful. Please introduce yourself and give us just the intro of what you understand of the topic that we are going to discuss. Thank you, ma'am.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Ada, and greetings to all the constituents that's on this forum. I am honored to be a part of the 2021 United Nations Day of Peace Forum. I am B. Baylor, a retired nurse, a successful business owner, a nonprofit expert, community leader, global change agent, and mentor to women around the world. I love empowering women around the world and established women. And I'm just honored, and I understand that the presentation that I would like to talk about is unveiling peace in our community through risk and resilience with world leaders, and that just stands out with me, unveiling peace in our community through resilience and risk.
Great. Thank you very much for that brief intro. Now, Dr. Diana, would you like, so we did say, we did confirm Dr. Diana is CC code.
Dr. Diana is next section, not this section, next section.
Okay.
So who, do I still have CC code?
That's what I'm looking for. I can't find her on the line again. What about Princess Gabo?
Princess Gabo is there. CC code, I saw her earlier.
Yes, she's here. I don't know where she went. Yeah,
Princess Gabo is there.
Yeah, bring her in. Because I can't see her on camera to spotlight.
Greetings. Thank you very much, Your Royal Highness, Princess Tepi, our moderator for the day. My sincere apologies. I have flu. Your Majesties, Excellencies, Ambassadors, dignitaries, First Ladies, and all esteemed guests, I take this opportunity to recognize all in accordance with protocol, and I send my warm South African greetings. I am Princess Gabuilelwe Moroka of Barolombo Silika in South Africa, the Free State Province, which is the breadbasket of South Africa. And I am the founder of the Princess Gabo Foundation, which advocates for responsible reproductive health and maternal and child health. I am also a member of the executive of the National House of Traditional Leaders, which is the highest body of royal leadership within the country. I'm also a community leader, a developer, a change maker, and I'd like to regard myself as a warrior, a barrier breaker in all aspects. I think that's the introduction that I'll make. And thank you very much, Madam Moderator.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. While we are still waiting to locate CC, perhaps the two of you can help us through this topic, to navigate this topic. We are saying recovering better for equitable and sustainable world, that it is most significant as the entire world is beginning to recover from COVID-19 havoc, which not only injected fear, that is where my keyword is, it injected fear in us. And we know that where there is fear, there can never be peace. So now as women, what I love is that both of you are envelope pushers, you are barrier pushers, breakers. So now this fear, how do we deal with the fear that has been injected in our families, in our relationships? Because we have seen the manifestation of this fear. How do we calm the society or our families down to say, we will recover, all is well? How do we do that?
I love this topic because I just had this conversation with family on Sunday. The heart is hurting and families need each other. The only way we are going to remove fear is go gather our families and bring them back together. Families are lonely and they're hurting. And that fear that's been injected into our families, it's a stigma, it's a downfall. It has to be removed. And it starts with bringing families together. Families are separated. That is what the intention of the pandemic has caused families to, and demise within the family to happen. And that, my dear, is broken heart amongst our community. And we're the only one that have to go in from ancestors all the way down to the children and bring our community back together with love, because it's a healing that is required for us to come back together and stamp out the fear.
Thank you so much. Very, very well answered. Your Royal Highness Mehabo Moroka, we know that this fear is also has embroiled our men in our society, and thus we are seeing violence all over the shore, even in our country, because it will be relevant from where you are. That now we are seeing violence from these men, and we can assume that really it is out of the fear that maybe they are reacting. It is that fear of the pandemic that is now being injected in them. And now they are hurting our families, our daughters, or even other men they are also hurting. And we are seeing the spread of gender-based violence. This also is hurting our women. How can we assure our men that all is well, they are also being taken with, they are also being seen and heard, that there is still attention for them?
Thank you very much, Princess Tsepi. You know, when we speak about this issue of gender-based violence, I always say it goes deeper than just what we see on the surface. It goes deeper in the sense that there's a root cause, and usually what you would see is that it's not something that just happens. It's either, in most cases, when a man has not experienced love and has been broken at some point or the other, it catches up with them at some point. So now when we come to COVID, when the world, I think it was just a shock to everyone, you know. We had to press the reset button. The world just had to press the reset button, and it sort of exposed a lot of things. We know how it affected the economy, and as in our country where the unemployment rate, for instance, was high even before COVID came in, we can just imagine the circumstances then when a pandemic like COVID then comes in. So I think what I'm trying to say is that this goes back to the moral fiber of our societies and how I think Madam B clearly said it, that, you know, it begins in the home. It begins in our small nuclear spaces where we try to rebuild. But I also, for instance, in my organization, Princess Habo Foundation, we have a program called Let's Kangaroo Africa. And it's just a program that talks about, it promotes kangaroo mother care. And it says, let us teach children to love in order for them to know what love is. Let us teach them to care in order for them to know what care is, so that when they grow up with love, with care, they are able to give it to the next person. So that's why I'm saying it all starts at the root. And my stance is that we cannot try to say we want to change now when things have gone wrong. We have to, if we want to see true change, let's go to the root cause of all the challenges that we face. It's unfortunate, you know, even when we come to the women themselves, they find themselves vulnerable because a woman is the one who's more compromised. She's the one who takes care of the family, makes sure that everyone is sorted out and taken care of before she can take care of herself. And it's very painful that when even even men are frustrated, the person that would become the punching bag would be the women, because they take out their frustrations on them. So it's so unfair that we have to carry, we are givers of life. God trusted us with giving life, with nurturing, with building nations. And yet we are the ones who suffer the most. I mean, when we talk about leaders, world leaders, they come from a woman. There is no human being on earth who is not born from a woman. And that is something that we need to teach our men, our boys from a very young age, that a woman is precious in every regard. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. So very well put, so very well said. We are now going to, let's make a space at the table, my dear panelists. Let's make a space for Ambassador Toyin Lawal. The table of women, it always has a space. As women, wherever we go, we can never say we are enough. We know how to do group. We do group very well. We do teams very well. We do lobbying very well, and we never do things alone. So, Madam Madam Toyin, please come and join us. There's a seat here with your name, and I want to speak peace. Last time when we were with you, I know that you had to leave us on an emergency. I speak love to you. I speak peace to you. And I do know that we kept on praying for you. And I'm glad to see you today here. Please come and join us. Your seat is here. Dr. Ada, will you please be so kind and let her occupy her seat at the table? I think Dr. Ada does not want us to have a spotlight. Isn't it, Ambassador B? I think so. Come on, Dr. Ada, we are the first ladies. Honor us just today. Honor us just today. Let's have the I mean,
I think she wants, maybe she wants to be off camera because of where she is.
Let's hear her. Come, Ambassador Toyin.
Ambassador Toyin Lawal, where are you? And you come up
where are you?
The panel. Hello.
Ambassador Toyin, you are not there now. My goodness. And I had a very, very, very good a question for her. I had a very, very good question for her. All right.
She did mention she
Ambassador B. Baylor,
maybe she's
you have spoken that you are the mentor to women globally. Do you have your programs here in South Africa?
I have one program, the Global Empowerment of Professional Black Women, that is getting ready to launch. I am personally going to be working with Dr. Ada to collaborate and find other organizations here in the United States that are looking to connect and assist and support the mission. And that is one way that I believe the healing and the love and the fear can be removed by building that community level of resilience, that we now have a clear pathway and a seat at the table, that we as world leaders and women, that we could start by removing the conflict of poverty, of violence, and health disparities, a lack of education. We need proper housing. Homelessness is a huge issue, and hunger, and the global pandemic, and just having that collaboration, building peace amongst us. And it starts with this platform, a seat at the table, and execute. When there's an issue, we have the power to change that issue through the risk that we already take as women. And we as women, we're resilient. So why is there an issue? It's because the fear has separated us. And that is what we need to widely agree upon, that we're going to come together and have that seat at the table and be welcome and open with love so that we can start to heal and start building that relationship. When Dr. Ada announced that she needed this, I immediately start reaching out to people that I know that are nonprofits. As a nonprofit expert, I know of well over 60 nonprofits. And how do we take away the selfishness that the pandemic has caused us to be selfish and stay in our own little cocoon? And now it is time to come out. It is time. Yes, we're going to gird up and mount up and mask up, but we've got to be on the enemy front line right now to stamp out this problem amongst our people in our community. And it starts with us embracing each other.
That so very well put. Are we still not having Ambassador Toyin? So follow up on what you've said. Leaders are hurting. That is correct. And because of the fear, we see it also manifesting, that they are hurting. We see it manifesting, perhaps allow me to say, sometimes you'll see it through factions. That these factions is because of the fear that one is thinking that the other is better, or maybe their seat at the table will now start disappearing. So speak to our leaders. And sometimes we see through aggression as well. Speak to our leaders. And how I want you to speak to them and release the word of healing to them. How do you say the table is still big? The table has not shrunk. It's just the fear of the pandemic. But now as we recover, how do we heal that so that we can come back from this aggression and the factions that have been created, and perhaps even animosity now among us as leaders? So speak to us as leaders and heal us. To you, Ambassador B.
Okay.
Do you want to take it, Princess Kabo?
Okay. I can take it, Your Royal Highness.
Thank you.
Let me say, why then do we seem to have put fear ahead of us? Why have we allowed COVID to bring us to our knees, causing us so much terror? Why have we let it to take so much of us, mind, body, and soul? And we can continue to ask why, when fear is only fear, which once a person or an individual conquers, it will not have any hold on them. And therefore, why are we afraid? Why are we so afraid? As a child of the Most High, 2 Timothy 1 verse 7 says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." And these are all the tools we need to overcome. The world is so desperate for love. It is in need of formidable power, and above all, leaders with wisdom, charting a way forward. Without these three important principles, will only cause us a bigger divide between our nations and our communities. We have to find means and ways of mending all that needs to be fixed. And the question will always be the how part. And for me, as a leader as well, I say it is the part is, where wisdom, love, and willpower are, we can experience true change. And also, I think at the core is the spirit of Ubuntu that we have to cultivate. You are because I am. if we can all embody that attitude and spread love instead of hate, we should have compassion and empathy towards one another, and we must love one another as sisters and brothers to build a better tomorrow. We should lead by example as leaders. We should be the torchbearers. We should bring a sense of hope, of peace, of love, of prosperity to the people. That's what I would say. Thank you, Your Highness.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So well put, so well said. And we now have our Ambassador Toyin Lawal. Thank you so much and welcome, Madam. Welcome, welcome. We will just go and have a quicker one. I know that you are a woman of God. I heard from last time. What do you think the church can put programs to contribute and help in diffusing this fear, in diffusing the crisis that we are seeing because of the pandemic? What programs can the church put to help us as the society? You need to unmute, Ambassador.
Oh yeah, sorry, so sorry. Thank you so much, Excellency, all panelists, Dr. Ada, and all the previous speakers. Happy International Peace Day. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I do apologize. I'm currently in the ICU working. So you see me with all mask up. I have people around me. So please pardon me for that. Very good question. And I want to highlight that the pandemic has actually brought us into a new light of health services, looking at gender equality, looking at the SDG goals, and looking at the effect of the pandemic on social, economic, health crisis, public health crisis, housing, food. So I want to emphasize that what we have been able to do is to lift up, our community in the area of how we say strategic planning for health and partnership. Number one, we use the platform of telehealth to effect, effective health services for our people in the community. And I will give an example of about 400 women that we are able to sponsor, through telehealth for mental health. During the pandemic, all these women, about 400 business women, lost their jobs. They lost economic crisis across Africa, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Sudan, India. So what we did is we combined with Harvard University and used the telehealth platform, to use this opportunity for these women. They were able to do consultation, because when women lost their value for market value, for money in their pocket, there will be conflict in the house. There will be, crisis in the house. You can't do anything without food, in the sense that when the people are hungry, there will not be peace at all. So telehealth has helped us a lot to bring health services to this community. The women are able to see psychiatrists once in a month, and we also have group management once in a month. The opportunity is actually help us to gather all women together that are business women to use the platform free. What I did is I combined with another NGO from 1,000 Women in Religion. We combine with Impact R and Harvard University to do these services free for our women. That is number one. We also partner with ADA, Diabetic Association in Belize. And I know that we have our counselor from Belize that just spoken, to help them in the area of health, so that, the effect, because you see the pandemic affects a lot of people that has comorbidity. If we are able to help women understand how to take care of their health and reduce blood sugar, reduce blood pressure, reduce the effect of economic crisis on their health and their mental ability, they will be able to produce further. So we did that in Belize as well, and we also did in Nigeria. And currently, right now, as we are speaking, in Nigeria, we have 3 states that are going through distribution of empowerment for women right now as we speak, and also in India and in Sierra Leone. On behalf of 1,000 Women in Religion, we also partner, with other organizations. I know that one of our speakers spoke about peace across, and this is why we did our legacy voice. And Her Excellency, you are one of our speakers during that program. To speak out, we enable women to speak out about their health, about what is going on in the community. That's how far I can say for now, and this initiative is really progressing very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Because I know that you are at work, before you disappear, I want to really engage with you more. We speak on the United Nations Day Agenda 2030, and we are saying we are leaving nobody behind. Now, we know that also with the fear and the pandemic, all the effects, also there is the manifestation on our children as well. We see children also, they're suffering, some in silence, some they have lost parents, and it's just all over. So let us speak to this part of our society, these little people that are still developing in their minds. When this fear comes, when this crisis, how do we help them?
Thank you, Your Excellency. One of the things that we also did for the youth is empowerment through digitalization. Now everything is electronic, so that our youth will not stay idle in the community. Dr. Ada, we had a program early this year on education and digitalization, and we are actually partnering with a lot of educators to bring strategic education to our youth. One of the empowerment also that we did is fashion, and I know that we presented this during the UN CSW this year. And we also do sewing, hairdressing, carpentry, and handiwork, skills that our youth can use, to be very engaged in the community, and also to empower them to look forward for the future. Currently, we are also training youth on e-health. E-health is using data to effect social determinants of health in the community. For example, some geographical areas, we know that equality is very important, but some are being left behind because of where they live, because of the culture that they are in, or because of some of the social determinants of health. So we are teaching this youth on how to locate, some strategic position in their community and bring these people together to that community to see, okay, now in this area, let's say, for example, I will use maybe South Africa one area, Nigeria one area. What are the commonalities among these youth in this area? How we can strategically use our partnership from US, from UK to help this group coming up. And one of the areas that we did is having computer in our communities for the youth to use, to learn more, and to bring our elderly together as well. So we are using youth as part of our community movers and shakers. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I said, because I want to engage you more, because I can see that there is more in you. And what I like is that you have made it practical. To me, that's what is important. That's what is important, to make it practical. So now, I believe, Susan, thank you very much for coming into our table. Our table is still big. Our table is still big. Thank you very much for agreeing to the invitation. Here's, let's hear what you want to contribute. I do have a question, but let's hear you first.
Well, I just want to add to what was just said, because bringing in the youth, that's exactly what, our passion is and what we do. And whether it's the youth around the world, certainly from Africa as well. But the concept of being, and we were focusing on mental health of youth. That's exactly one of our major themes in what does peace mean to me? Because they can't have peace unless they have real mental health. And the kind of programs that you're doing, Victor, are wonderful in there. And we should talk further about combining them. because giving youth the opportunity to talk into their phones or YouTube or whatever it may be, and talk about how they feel and what it's meant to them and how it's changed them are things that is all such an important part of mental health, because kids most time have difficulties telling these things to perhaps their parents or other adults. But when they're speaking into their phones, because that's become such a part of their lives, or speaking to other kids, it's so meaningful. And it is such an important piece to bring the youth into this whole dynamic of really healing, because that's the way it can be healed. And thank you for letting me add that.
Yes, 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 and yes, and yes, and yes. Thank you so much. Who do we want to bring back? B, Ambassador B. Behavioral change education. In the 80s into the 90s, we had the HIV/AIDS, and I know that in Africa, most of the programs that helped it was to help behavioral change. Really, as Susan has just said, it's got to say, what does peace mean to me? What does healing mean to me? And am I me first? And this is the time where we can say, allow yourself to be spotlight and shine the spotlight on you. So now, do you believe that behavioral change education can help to diffuse the fear and can help to restore hope into the whole family and spreading into the society?
Oh, Your Highness, I absolutely love everything, Susanna. I know of so many nonprofits who are working with the youth, and the youth, that's our future, the mental health, that is community. Peace enriches our community. And it really starts within the household, because that's where there is no peace within our household. There is violence, there is sexual abuse, there is domestic violence. There is a lack in the house where our kids, and these are the kids that are coming out of that household where there is no peace. And restoring the peace really enriches our community and our children. And we have to just embrace it to look at how we can bring in our generosity and provide a cornerstone for our children, for their well-being, for their health. And it has to be something that is sustainable. And the beautiful doctor over here, Dr. Toyin, you are magnificent. And thank you for your service. As a nurse, my heart is heavy. And this is a celebration for me. I am a warrior. I survived a major heart attack. And during the pandemic this month. And we need doctors just like you that are on the ground. You're on the battlefield for us. So I want to thank you for your service, because you are healing globally. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As we wrap up, my beautiful panelists, so much that is still in you. I know so, and I do know that Dr. Ada is watching, and she knows soon we are going to be meeting once again, because there is so much that we can do. Your Royal Highness, Princess Habu, which is going to be, we are now wrapping up. So help us, the make that we can use to help women to recover, the women businesses, because we have all spoken that This pandemic, it has mostly women, and we are here to advocate for women. So what mechanism that we can use in our communities, which really can be spread all across the world to help cover their business through their businesses, and so that they can be able to bring life into their families, and therefore splitting it over into the communities. Princess Khabo, are you there?
Royal Highness, yes, I am here. I just missed you a bit. My network is not too good.
Yes, the mechanism that we can use to help women to recover their businesses, the women businesses, small and medium.
Royal Highness, I think in the African context, you know, we have this concept of togetherness, and it is only through holding hands and lifting up each other that we can grow. From the villages where we start planting in the backyards, and that's precisely how my people have survived. You know, when COVID came in, the women cooperative, well, it's mixed, but the majority, 70% of the cooperative is women. And I had instructed that each and every yard should be planted in the village. And we did not know, little did we know that COVID is on the way. But we saw the effects of that action when each and every household had food, and it was women who were leading. Women who made sure that they tilt the land, women who make sure that they take the produce from the soil, they prepare the food for the family to eat, they clean up the dishes, and they then are the last, as always, to even feed themselves. So for us to have sustainability, we have to come together as women, and those who are already at the fore must hold the hand of the one that's coming behind. That's how we will succeed as women. Together we can do much more.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. Here we are talking about the sustainable goal number 17. Collaboration is the new key word. There is no more competition, no more fear, no more crisis. We come together. Here we are now. And who knows, by next year at this time, we will be speaking programs that have emanated from these webinars, where now we have made it practical. We have learned and shared with one another. A minute each, giving your parting words. 1 minute of your parting words.
Thank you, Your Excellency. My parting word actually is on that goal number 17, partnership. In order to build back better, we need to partner together. No one is an island. We have to work together, right from where we are right now, and nothing is too small to start. And nowhere is too small to start. Let's just start now. Let's put our action in action. This is the decade of action. Let's go ahead and partner with each other to help our.
Thank you, thank you. Ambassador B, your parting word, 1 minute.
My parting words is, I leave you all with this, and it's a question that I'd like to leave you guys with. Can our families and communities thrive without mutual support and peace with our neighbors? We all need each other. And world leaders, let's all surrender, because God is in control and we are not. We surrender, it will all flow, and we can become collaborative partners to change the world.
Great, great, great. Let us go within where God has always been. He's never left. He's never somewhere. We've never postponed him. We've never put him on. He's always been there. Suzanne, your parting words.
On mute.
You are muted. You are muted. You're gonna
Okay,
start it
now I
again.
did it. Now I'm unmuted. Okay. Thank you, and thank you for. And let's say when one says God, and particularly in our discussion today, I think it should be beyond that. It should be, because we're talking about women, and women are leading the world, and we are being a higher power. And I think that that's really important to look at it from this broad perspective for everyone, so that partnerships and working together and the necessity for doing that has always been what, again, the Peacemaker Corps has stood for, and is trying to instill in the youth of the world, so that they become the leaders, and leaders working together, listening to each other, and using words and not violence to make sure that there is a peaceful world. And thank you so much. I greatly appreciate being able to participate. And please,
Great.
anyone
Thank
be
you
in
so
touch.
much.
I would like to stay in touch with everybody. So thank you.
Yes, yes. Actually, the first meets every month here, believe it or not. That's why you hear now we have testimonials of the previous month. So once you are connected with Dr. Ada, she's like a spider web. She has brought us all together. Princess Khabu, your parting words, madam.
Royal Highness, firstly to thank each and every one of the First Ladies present here today, and our honorable gentlemen. I'm truly, truly humbled to be part of this platform. COVID-19, the monster and the very big elephant in the room, which forced the entire world to come to a standstill, which caused havoc and compelled us to press the reset button. I say, what a time to be alive, and how befitting that we are having this discussion on the International Day of Peace. As we are heading towards facing the aftermath of this pandemic, and yes, of course, finding equitable and sustainable solutions must be at the center of everything that is to be done as we move forward. We are, of course, seeking to see leaders who are bold enough, conscious enough to admit when they are wrong, that we do not continue to go down the path of war, the path of greed, the path of inequality, the path of corruption, the path of fear, the path of hate, and so forth. And speaking as a Christian, we know that God is love. We know that love is associated with all things good. Love is associated with care, with joy, with peace, with happiness, with abundance, with wholeness. Exactly how we as a people, as humanity, are supposed to be. How then did we get to where we are today? How then did we get to the animal farm? Is peace, are we truly at peace with the fact that a lot of destabilization that we have across the globe is because of choice? It's a matter of choice, choosing to be greedy, choosing war over peace, choosing to destroy over building. And I think my parting word would be, it is time to introspect. It is time to right the wrongs of the past. And it is time to take the lead as women, that we are the ones who will bring light. Thank you.
Very, very great. Okay, as I conclude this wonderful panel discussion, as I conclude so that we can move on to the next item, I would like to say thank you to all my panelists. Thank you to all those that participated. Reverend, we saw you. So what I have learned, what I'm taking with on this International Day of Peace is that peace is a conscious decision. We choose how to react. We choose how to interact with other people. We choose how the words that are going to come out of us. We then choose also, as we are recovering, that fear is not going to overcome because it has never really been something that is for real. So then peace will always prevail and peace reigns. In the land of the queens and the princesses where I come from back here in Africa, when I say back here in Africa, I'm making so that our sisters across the Atlantic can come back home and know who you are. This is the land of the princesses and the queens. We have always seen women that are fearless, that are brave, the warriors. Perhaps these are the stories that have never been told, but we know that. These are the peacemakers. These are the bearers of order in our communities and in our homes. Even behind every king is a woman or a team of women that are uplifting him to do well and to do better. We do know history has showed us as well that here in South Africa, liberation came through the participation or taking charge from our mothers and their daughters as well. You do know that history. And also from this land, I would like to say thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just know that you are a woman of authority. You choose peace and peace dwells in you. Anything that you do, let peace, let love reign all the time. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. We now have concluded our panel discussion. We will go into the next item.
Hello.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I would just like to say, you know, this webinar, it's really amazing. I have learned so much. I'm sitting here listening to the princesses, and wow, I mean, I have learned, you know, like so many key words that I would just take back and work with. I just love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We are very humbled and honored, Councillor, for those words. Thank you. It's in all of us. We come from the same mother right here in Africa. So wisdom has been, we are born in wisdom. We are wisdom. Thank you so much. Dr. Ada, I can see now you want to push me over. If you were here sitting next to me, you would have go ahead. Princess, finish up. Let's go to the next item. So can I swallow some? Take some breath.
Yes, do that.
Very, very exciting day. Very, very exciting day. What is our next one? Intervention statement.
Yes, with
do we have Honorable Oscar Mira? Dr. Ada, please.
Not yet.
But what I know for sure is, yes, what I know for sure is that we have Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Diana Kennelly. That I know for sure that we do have. So here she will be giving us an intervention statement, recovering better for more equitable and peaceful world in addressing generation equality, women, peace and security in perilous times, strategies for further action. Your Excellency, Ambassador Dr. Diana, please take your mic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Royal Highnesses. We have amazing ministers here, government officials, ladies and gentlemen who have just done a wonderful job talking about what it means to have this International Peace Day, not just today, but over the next 10 years in what we are calling Agenda 2030 in the Decade of Action. Dr. Ada, Thank you so much for having me here. Your Royal Highness, Princess Shepi, thank you so much for the wonderful way you have moderated so far. And so it is my honor to be able to present this next section. And I hope it will be useful. I'm not going to be long. I am going to be very quick and to the point as we consider recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world. And as I was thinking about this, something that came to mind to ask ourselves is, what are the actionable ways that we can begin to celebrate peace by being for and coming against hate online and offline? More, and if we can take a moment to be more specific, is how have we been complicit in the acts of hate online and offline? And then how can we begin to amplify our voices and our actions towards compassion, kindness, and hope, not only in the face of the pandemic, but in what we do every day, right? So I wanted to open up with that. And today is Leadership Development Day for me. And one of the things that Vincent van Gogh reminds us is great things are done by a series of small things brought together. So every single thing that we do moves us towards a better 2030, moves us towards a better 2021 closing, moves us towards beginning 2022 well. So without action on our part, no success is going to be possible. So how can we begin to sharpen and improve ourselves? How can you and I sharpen and improve our performance by developing the different ways that we are uniquely talented? Because number one, no one can achieve mastery who is not always growing every day. You cannot exceed expectations if you have not set expectations. So over October to December, what are some of those expectations that you can set, and how are you going to literally exceed those expectations? Number three, excellence is the gradual result of always working to do better. So today and every day, what can you do to be absolutely great? What can you be great at today? And I was really blessed by Ambassador Dr. Toyin Lawal, who talked about partnerships. And I want to raise 5 things about that. Number one, who you spend time with matters. How you build up your team is also going to be really key as we build back better in 2021 and as we continue this work towards 2030. Your dream and whatever you are bringing to not just your community, not just your nation, but to this world, the work that you're going to do needs you to have an amazing dream team. Because number 4, in the world of possibilities, the formula for partnerships is not addition, but it is multiplication. Henry Cloud says this: let the degree of flexibility of work not take away from the benefit of relationships. Relationships matter. We are here today because we have built wonderful relationships over time. The next thing that we need to really look at is how are we being accountable and responsible for developing the leader within you? And how are you also developing the leaders that are around you? These two things will continue to remain the most fundamental ways in which we can begin to recover for an equitable and more sustainable world. I have developed a program called the Leadership Measure. And from this, there are 4 things that we have to absolutely do, because leadership values are what are going to help us to have a better world that we are looking towards. So number 1, how are you mastering your leadership foundation? How you build back in 2021 is going to be so key in how we get to 2030. Number 2, how are you going to master your leadership formation? Every level of leadership is always going to be evolving, and that means that you have got to be deliberate in how you are going to develop yourself, in who you are going to become to lead in every sphere of influence in the world. Number 3, how are you going to master your leadership effectiveness? Because how will we know that we have been absolutely successful? What measures do we have in place that is going to help us to know that we have been we have done the work that we have put in place? And then how are we also looking at what are some of the things we are doing that are no longer relevant? And can we please do away with them? And number 4, how can we begin to look at what we are doing and say that we are making a mark in this world? We are making a mark in our communities at the national level and at the global level, because we have made room for others to be with us at the leadership table. In her book, Emotional Agility, Susan David reminds us of the work that we have to do when it comes to our youth. So do not ask the youth, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because we are not defined or made worthy by the things that we get to do because we have got employment. But let us then ask, what problems do you want to solve? Because this is what is going to move us to where we want to get to be. The next one is, who do you want to be? Because this is what helps us to look at what are those values that we are going to bring. And my final remark comes from is to really think about that if we do not do work for our own individual development, talking about world peace is just something else on our daily or our meetings that we get to do. So thank you very much for listening. Over to you, Your Royal Highness, Princess Shepi.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Ina. I'm just seeing the you are sitting at of all those books, and I'm here. It be like a write and never come out. Thank you so much. We are now going to move so that we can capture the time. Thank you greatly. Dr. Ada, do we have Dr. Hong Tao Tse? No?
Thank you so much, Your Excellencies, Your Highnesses, Ada, my sister from another mother. While our Ambassador Diane Canoli, you were talking about leadership, ma'am. I just wanted to say that we are all sisters from other mothers, and you can see this painting. That I love because it's African women working. Yes, I'm an Indian American, but at heart, I have a very special place for our African sisters because we are all in this together. And thank you so much. And one thing I just want to say about Ada, she never talks too much about herself, having known her for so long. I mean, what she comes up with, she's really a visionary. So I think the program she comes up and her passion, and she carries all of us through. So my intervention on this Peace Day, I wrote a poem on peace, and Your Excellency, with your permission, I would just like to read it. It will just take a minute because I also write poetry. So I just wrote this about peace, and I would just like to read it. In a world which is often upside down, but continues to go round and round, Peace Day is just not today, as all of you excellencies and sisters were saying, making a difference in every day, every way. Let us all pray that we do not betray our generation and destroy creation, but work to spread harmony and stop this acrimony. The culture of peace gives life a new lease. So I just wanted to say that that's all my intervention. And thank you so much. Peace, P-E-A-C-E. It's one of the most powerful words known in any language. So thank you all so much for your time. And hopefully next year we can meet in person. And thank you again, Your Excellencies. And thank you for all the work you do. And we need to join together. Peace is about race, religion, gender, caste, and socioeconomic status. So that's why we are having this. And back to you, Madam Chair. And Ada, thank you again. You rock. Love you. Thank you.
Great, great. I like those words. You rock. You rock, you rock, you rock. Thank you so much. Right now, may we please hear from Archbishop Ambassador Dr. Mary Floyd Palmer. Archbishop Ambassador Dr. Mary Floyd Palmer. Archbishop, are you here?
I think she's up. Yeah.
All right. With that being said, then maybe I will then hand over to you, Dr. Ada. You rock. Did you hear that?
Yes, our next speaker is, can you introduce the next speaker? His presentation is from video from California. Can you introduce the next speaker, Your Highness?
Yeah.
Speaker, his presentation is from video. Dr. Hong Tao from California.
It's not working again. Our video keeps on repeating.
Your Highness.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, Dr. Ada Juni Okika, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, good day. I would like to thank the organizer, Africana Women Working Group at the UN, for inviting me. The United Nations General Assembly unanimously declared September 21st as a day of nonviolence and ceasefire in 2001, calling on all nations and peoples to end hostilities on this day, practice 24 hours of nonviolence and ceasefire, and promote the idea of peace through education and activities on a variety of peace-related topics. It is intended to not only honor the International Day of Peace, but also strengthen and raise awareness of peace among global citizens. 20 years later, the UN Secretary General underlines in his message for the 100-day countdown to International Day of Peace 2021, the world cannot go back to what it was as we count down to the International Day of Peace. I call on people everywhere to be part of a transformation for peace by standing up against hatred and discrimination, by caring for the planet, and by showing the global solidarity that is so vital at this time. Human rights are inherently natural. The law is inherently equal, and men and women are inherently cooperative. Just like Taiji, where yin and yang embrace and mutually reinforce each other. Yin alone cannot give birth, and yang alone cannot grow. Natural reproduction allows each generation to succeed the previous, ensuring the sustainable future of the living creatures on Earth. The world was originally beautiful, pure, and harmonious, and it was hopeful with everything flourishing. However, from the moment they are born, humans are confronted with the 5 poisons hidden in their hearts: greed, anger, ignorance, arrogance, and skepticism. The selfish pursuit of power, fame, and wealth has led to jealousy, suspicion, comparison, bullying, and even discrimination and hatred among people. Since ancient times, countless lives have been sacrificed to fight for human rights, bringing endless suffering. If people realize that we are one world and that the source of happiness is one, more conflicts and tragedies can be avoided. We all came from the same origin. We are all God's children. We are all brothers and sisters, and we are all one family. Conscience is innate and guides us onto the bright path. Only when conscience is activated can global citizens respect and care for one another and realize a peaceful world, as with conscience comes a peaceful world, and with happiness comes a joyful family. Conscience is the key to global peace and sustainability. Peace is essential for maintaining positive energy, and love is a strong foundation for creating peace. Now is a critical time, especially as the world is recovering from the devastation of the COVID-19 pandemic. Only by providing mutual support, assistance, love, and care, and uniting with love and conscience, will we timely change the crisis into a good opportunity and create a win-win situation to enhance our collective well-being and to usher in true peace. This year's theme for the United Nations International Day of Peace is Recovering Better for an Equitable and Sustainable World. We should all learn from history, learn from the wisdom of our predecessors, live in peace with each other, and think together about how to help make the world a healthier and safer place. A world of love, fairness, tolerance, and multicultural harmony. Throughout the history of peacemaking, women have played a vital and increasingly influential role in promoting social and global dialogue, multilateral cooperation, and the well-being of the world's citizens. They are peacemakers and leaders, like the Mother Earth, who embraces and nurtures all things. They are loving, caring, resilient, and bold. Whether they are frontline healthcare workers, heads of state, leaders of businesses or organizations, or leaders of conscience in various capacities during the pandemic, their empathetic, communicative, and proactive approach to balance is making a significant impact in our time, creating different leadership styles and new values. They are able to directly demonstrate and convey the power of love and warmth, and to be a bridge between strength and flexibility, creating harmony and peace in their daily lives and workplaces. The International Day of Peace reminds us that we all have a long way to go in maintaining international peace and security, as well as promoting democracy and freedom, and that we must all work together to ensure the survival of the world's more than 7 billion people. This International Day emphasizes the importance of using peace actions to safeguard the sustainable future of democratic and free societies, and it encourages the promotion of a culture of love, peace, and conscience to protect human rights and achieve global security, stability, and peace. The essence of a culture of conscience is the prevention of war and the resolution of any form of conflict and confrontation by nonviolent means, and even the further creation of peace. Martin Luther King Jr., a Nobel Peace Prize laureate, advocated nonviolence in the fight for African Americans' basic rights. The father of the Indian nation, Mahatma Gandhi, successfully led India to independence, and his nonviolent ideology impacted the global movement for peaceful reforms. Wangari Maathai, a renowned Kenyan environmentalist, Africa's first woman to win Nobel Peace Prize and the United Nations Messenger of Peace, has dedicated her life to promoting ecological conservation and sustainable global development, embodying her belief in using resources to plant seeds of peace. The three co-winners of the 2011 Nobel Peace Prize, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia, peace activist and colonist Lima Bowie of Liberia, and women's rights activist Tawakkul Karman of Yemen, have made significant contributions to human rights, democracy, and peace through their nonviolent struggle for women's security and the right to participate fully in peace-building efforts. The key to peace lies in promoting the purest form of human love and practicing it with perseverance. Actions based on love and conscience will be the strongest force for peaceful reform and the best way to maintain long-term peace in the world. There is no peace without love. Peace needs love, and love needs to be balanced. Balanced yin and yang are to be achieved with the middle way. Yin and yang mutually reinforce each other, and their respective qualities are combined to form a perfect Taiji that transforms all things in the world. Let us learn from each other, complement each other's strengths, and cooperate fully on the basis of love and respect, so that we can fully realize humanity's shared good values and accelerate the construction of a culture of conscience, thereby creating a peaceful world. The fruit of conscience is true love. The fruit of true love is altruism, and the fruit of altruism is peace. We believe that sowing seeds of love and peace deep inside our hearts will facilitate the awakening of conscience and allow us to grow amid the warm exchanges of hearts. Conscience is like a compass, guiding people onto the right path and unleashing their boundless potential. Conscience enables people to become compassionate and courageous, and empowers them to use wisdom to resolve conflict. When people act in accordance with their conscience, they benefit both themselves and others. By handling people and things with conscience, we will know how to tolerate and forgive each other, love and care for others, shorten the distance between people and between nations, and promote an all-around stable and peaceful society. I am the 掌门人 of Taijimen, and I have inherited the essence and regimen of the Taoist philosophy, and have been dedicated to improving global citizens' physical, mental, and spiritual health during the SARS outbreak in 2002, and during the COVID-19 pandemic, which started in the end of 2019, we produced disease prevention guidelines, 3 don'ts, 5 do's, and 6 tips, as well as a trilogy of videos on epidemic prevention, which we have presented to heads of state and the world, hoping that everyone will stay safe, healthy, and happy, and that the pandemic will end soon. The pandemic is in fact a warning to the world, who can be without flaws if they are not saints. There is no greater benefit than being able to correct one's errors in the face of nature's backlash, only through sincere self-reflection, repentance, and atonement, and by doing more good deeds with conscience to make up for our mistakes, can we have a chance to turn the corner. Every human being yearns for love, peace, and goodness, and we can only achieve a win-win situation if we work together for mutual benefit and reciprocity. We shall continue our conscience-driven efforts, and we welcome everyone to join the conscience ranks in order to benefit the world through acts of love and conscience. Let conscience guide us in creating a sustainable society of peace, unity, and love through collective action. And together we will move toward a true era of conscience in which love, peace, and human dignity prevail. The more seeds of conscience we sow today, the more trees of love and peace will grow. And the more people truly practice conscience, the stronger the trees of love and peace will become. By uniting the actions of all peace advocates, regardless of nationality, race, gender, class, or other status, we will work together to promote the culture of peace with love and conscience, and move towards a safe, equal, peaceful, and sustainable world. In closing, I would like to thank the organizer again for the invitation and wish everyone all the best. Let us continue to create peace, happiness, and harmony together.
Yeah, I said Dr. Horn rang the bell of peace for women. So I need you to play it back. Okay. The link I sent to you.
The bell of peace is an auspicious and peaceful bell which resonates with heaven and earth. It's a promise about world love and peace. The article, "The Love of the World, a Declaration of Peace," is our common wish. Ringing the bell with the wish makes all living beings prosper and love and peace last forever. Ringing the bell that saves the world could raise people's awareness. Only by congregating the wishes for love and peace will all living beings be able to thrive and love and peace be sustained forever.
Please unveil the bell.
With a clear ringing sound, the bell collects sincere wishes and gathers respectful energies as one. With aspirations for harmony surging, all living creatures are comforted and enjoy peace and security. Living in harmony with heaven and earth, people must return to truthfulness and follow the law of nature. consolidating good energies, conscience inspires kind deeds to transform our common destiny.
Ring the bell. Please raise up the mallet all the way up to the sky to show your wish to the whole world.
Yeah, back to you, Your Highness.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that peace bell. Let it keep on ringing in our lives, in our families, in our communities, and in our societies, in our continents, globally, wherever we are. Thank you so much. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, let us go to Outcome for Further Action by Dr. Ada Okika, 2021 International Peace Day, Gender Further Action.
Where is this still ringing? Thank you, everyone. Thank you to all the speakers and everyone who has shown a commitment to this special day back to you, Your Highness, of peace. I want to appreciate all the speakers, their presence, their time, your patience,
Let it keep
and
on
also
ringing
to Dr.
in our
Hong.
lives, in our families, in our communities, and in our society. All right. I'm not sure how are we going to edit so that at least on YouTube it can be your clear speech. Maybe you will have to do the do-over just for that recording. But thank you so much. We will now carry on. It's been a long afternoon. And to you, Dr. Ada, who woke up at 3 a.m. to be on by 4. So it's a long day. It's been a long day, but quite an enjoyable day, quite a day that we needed. So from myself, on behalf of Dr. Ada and the organizing team, I would like to say thank you so very much for making time to celebrate this International Day of Peace with us. Thank you so much to Dr. Ada and for organizing this conference as well. Thank you to all our speakers, all our panelists for their contribution, powerful contribution, may I add, powerful contribution. And I would like to say to all our attendees that make time to stay with us, even those that have joined us on YouTube, thank you so very much. We don't take this lightly. We really, really, really are honored, and may we continue. And even as we continue with these webinars on different topics, and all what we are doing is working towards Agenda 2030 under the banner of generation equality, all the agenda of women, the youth, and the children. That's our passion. That's what we are doing right here. And we will continue with these webinars every month. Just keep on the watch on Dr. Ada's website or Facebook on socials. Then you will see what are the following activities. I know that there is a lineup for next month as well. And we would like to see each other. We would like to see you all. And more importantly, I would like to encourage each one of us to make a contribution in the communities where we are. Let us heal the land. Let us heal ourselves as well. Let us continue recovering better and rebuilding better this post-COVID-19. Thank you so much. I would like to leave you with these words. May we harbor peace. May all that we do or think come from a place of peace and love. From myself, from the city of gold, the city that is a home for all nations, here in Gauteng, South Africa, I would like to say adios. Thank you so much. In my language, when we say peace, we say kgotso.
See you soon, Princess.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
See you soon.
And
Yeah.
Thank everyone.
International Day of Peace. Let's continue to
Happy
engage
International
among us as women, as a group, and work for the sustainability of our future. Remember that the girl child who is looking on to us needs a future, and we are to set the pace. I want to appreciate all the speakers. Susan, I thank you so much. I thank the Mayor Sharon from Belize for our time and effort, and Councillor Pauline for all you do on Adopt a School. I think we need that initiative more in trying to address the gender puzzle scheme. I want to appreciate Toyin Lawal, B. Bello, for all your support and the cooperation in seeing that yesterday I've been down in health, but you helped me out with the media image of this event. I thank you so much. Of course, Ambassador Diane Kinoli, you have always been a sister. We shall continue to be one. Thank you for all your effort. Princess Gabo from South Africa, I think, was I the one that transferred your health challenge? Because I know the last time we spoke, you were very well. And by now, you couldn't be on video because of health challenge. So I thank all of you. And Ambassador Toyin Lawal, we continue to drive the motion on SDG 16 by 1,000 Women in Religion and her legacy voice. These are all initiatives and platforms that we can actually integrate together to ensure that we use gender puzzle scheme to fix women's issues. Time is no more on us. We've had it all the forms of issues, FGM, domestic violence, blah, blah, blah. It's enough. The time is now for us to fix this puzzle and then reposition women for much better, important agenda. We also need to tackle the gender selfishness, because as women, we are too selfish on ourselves and our fellow women. We need to tackle that too. These are part of the puzzle that the GPS will tend to work on. So we also need to advocate for more women in power. As I was saying, that time is now for us to think of having a woman Secretary General. United Nations on October 24 will be 76 years. 76 years will take a woman Secretary General. Oh, bye. Time is now. Women should come together. Even if it's a crippled woman we want, let us speak with one voice and push her. Time is now. And it's only when we have that all these issues we are talking about women.
Exactly right.
Get answers. Right now, we're only speaking English. We are in my country, Nigeria, we say you are speaking Turanchi. Everything we are talking about, gender, it's all English language in different dimensions. But until we get a woman there, then action will take place. The puzzle will be solved, and women issues will begin to get started. So think about what you pass through in the home. Start from when you are a child. You take responsibility over your siblings because they are boys. You grow up, you take responsibility over your children, over your husband. You go, all those things, we need to fix them. But someone has to be a voice. Somebody has to assign us in, and that's a woman. So women should come together wherever we are and say, this is the time for us to have a woman Secretary General.
And that is what we need to talk about on gender puzzle scheme. You know, we don't have to be selfish. Last time, a woman contested for presidency in Nigeria in last presidential election. Her vote was only one. So no woman in Nigeria voted for her. It's only her own vote. This is not right. So we need to address some of these things. Look at what happened during this COVID, the heat of COVID-19. Only countries headed by women had no issue of death, managed the crisis very well. Only departments that had women were able to handle it. Think of what it is when we have a Secretary General as a woman, when we have more presidents, we have more positions of women. Think of how sustainable the world will be. And we just have 8 years to solve this puzzle. The 2030 agenda is fast approaching. We have less than 8 years and 2 months for us to get to 2030 agenda, to 2030. And if we don't solve it, then what are we going to talk again? Are we going to talk about the development sustainability? So we need to start now to do the puzzle and help each other. So I thank you all for coming. Royal Highness Princess Shepi, you have been so wonderful, sister. And I know you've been doing a lot to empower women from the grassroots. You are doing excellently well. And these are the instruments we need at this time. That time is ticking. And we need more women initiative. We need to appreciate each other from the grassroots communities to the global communities. Time is not. Let us form a platform and begin to address it. Carry your fellow women along wherever you are. Don't be selfish. Carry them along, and let us deal with this issue of our gender puzzle scheme. Our GPS must be right with us to the glory of God. I thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let us all wave. Let us all wave. Thank you, thank you. Good afternoon to you all. It's an evening here. Good night to us in Africa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye. Enjoy your peace day. I know more progress. I'm going to another one now. We'll stop before the week runs out, okay?
You and I, we don't sleep. Let's go. Let's go.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Susan. So I'll get back to you. We'll talk again. Yeah, Councillor Pauline, thank you so much. And thank our love to Major Sharon. We'll get back again together. Thank you so much. I would love that to adopt a school. We need to work on that. Thank you so much. And all the men that join us when attendees, I have Prince Ositanya Mecca, I have Reverend Father Dr. Vincent Bulus, Jason, all the men that join us, I appreciate you for being patient and for being part of us. I will extend our special greeting to Dr. Hong, who was able to ring peace bell for women, for all women. I thank you for everything. God bless you.